We are live. We are live. Welcome to a noon, somewhere around lunchtime, college football, peek around the corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Make sure you ring that notification bell if you want to support this independent national college football's rebel outpost. With a donation, help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment, and I will get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. A couple of reasons why we are coming on early today is because we might have to do a doubleheader. We might have to do a doubleheader live show this Friday, May 8th. So, I want you to keep that in your back pocket. I want you to make sure you keep your head on a swivel. We might be coming on later again today. This show is going to be a little bit different. We're not going to do a spotlight series. The next team we're doing is the Virginia Cavaliers. We're going to be talking about the quarterback battle between Bo Pibula and Eli Holstein. And we're going to be talking about the Virginia Cavaliers in the next spotlight. But we're not going to spend time on this live show on that. We are not going to go and do a recoil, an update on the I Do Declare competition that is going on here among the PATC Einsteins. We're going to talk about the just released Fox Friday night's football schedule. Did the Oregon Ducks and the Iowa Hawkeyes get screwed? Did they get screwed in the scheduling? Am I going to shed a tear for the Iowa Hawkeyes? Is Oregon and Iowa playing on a Friday night? Which is nothing to complain about. However, both those teams the week prior, I'll show you. Let me show you, and we'll show it again. The Oregon Ducks will fly to Michigan State on a short week after playing Michigan. The Iowa Hawkeyes will fly to Washington on a short week after playing Ohio State. Now, I will shed a little tear for the Ducks. Not much, because last year on a Friday night, the Oregon Ducks took my beloved Minnesota Golden Gophers, put them in a big old garbage can, and sealed the lid before the second quarter was even over. So I'm going to share just a little bit of a half a tear for the Oregon Ducks. The Iowa Hawkeyes, those evil Iowa Hawkeyes, nah. I'm not shedding any tears on that. So we're going to be going over that. We're also going to be going over the belief, and I did an episode on this earlier today. I did the belief that the Big 12 has improved their position because of the Redbird Capital deal, and how so many national reporters are spending a lot of time keeping track of what Big 12 schools took their $30 million credit line and how many Big 12 schools. I mean, that's an interesting part of the story. Nobody has yet confirmed that they're taking the $30 million credit line. But that's not the big part of the story. As we reported to you, the reason why the Big 12 and Brett Yormark was attempting to get a strategic partner in was to help their next media rights negotiation. That is the big part of the story, and Brett Yormark has improved the Big 12's position. We're also going to be talking about, again, 99% of this college football YouTube channel is about college football. 99% is about college football. However, there is a 1%. There is the 1% that we talk about, the unknown, where our curiosity is raised. And we're going to start off the program talking about just that. Now, am I going to get a lot of people mad at me today? A little bit angry with me today? A little bit frustrated at me today? Probably, and I do apologize. I do apologize. When you get so frustrated with me that you click off the program, that is my loss. That is not your loss. You've got your great life. You're doing a bunch of things. You can turn off your phone as you drive in the car. You said, I've had enough with that Flugar. I've had enough with that fat guy from Minnesota. Not even talking about college football. That is my loss. That is not your loss. Am I going to get am I going to get a loss of subscriptions today? Yes, I am. For whatever reason. And maybe because we're doing this every day and we're talking about college football and the Spotlight series and we're really getting into it. I don't know what is going on, but I thank you all very kindly. The subscriptions in this channel, according to the Little General, they have skyrocketed over the last couple of months. So I want to thank you all. But I'm going to lose some of you today. And again, that is my loss. That is most definitely not your loss. But we're going to be talking about the UAP, the first batch of videos that were released. And before you all yell at me, let me read you a little bit something here. Let me remind all of you, thank you, Bill G. Man, Bill G, I appreciate it because I'm going to get a lot of heat during this program today. And for you to give out 5 gifted memberships on a program, the most unpopular national independent college football YouTube channel in the country, and a show that has to do with UAPs that a lot of you don't want to spend any time on. You don't want to thank you, Bill G. Thank you very much. Yogi Buck, keep talking Florida State, draws people in. Well, we're not talking. If you want to talk Florida State, I'll talk Florida State. And a phone call or a super chat, but Florida State today is not on the docket. But let me remind you, every one of you, and we'll get to the incredible, edible Bill G's 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Bill G. MGC Sooner has already thanked Bill G. MGC Sooner got a gift membership and has already thanked the incredible generosity of Bill G. When President Dwight Eisenhower, PATC Einsteins, do you remember who Dwight Eisenhower was? The General, World War II, President of the United States from 52 to 60. When Eisenhower famously warned about the dangers of a military-industrial complex. Everybody knows what that means, right? When Eisenhower famously warned about the dangers of a military-industrial complex, in that same speech that everybody forgets about, or they don't want to bring it up, in that same speech, he also warned us about public policy becoming captive to the scientific, technological elite. Dwight Eisenhower was giving us a warning. There are so many people out there that just don't care, and that includes scientists. The stigma is too heavy. People are talking about aliens. Greg, there's no aliens. The universe is too big. There's no aliens, Greg. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's no aliens anywhere in our solar system. But maybe there is. But if there isn't, that does not change the story. And again, I ask you, how would anybody know? How would anybody know? Let me show you guys something here. Give me a moment. And before I get into this, first of all, let me This is the that is the first batch of videos that came out today. Okay, if you go to my X account at Flug Empire, go ahead and copy this dashboard, this link to the dashboard. It gets us all to a bunch of videos that were released today. Now, it was told yesterday that the first batch definitely wasn't going to be the most impactful batch. Another distraction. Again, I love you too, Master. I don't even know what that means anymore. Anytime anybody talks about anything other than party politics, it's called a distraction. If you're not talking about Epstein, or if you're not talking about the evils of the Democratic Party, the evils of the Republican Party, the evils of the American, it's a distraction. No, this has been going on for 80 bleeping years. 80 years. Let me know when we're supposed to talk about it. Let me know when we're supposed to release these files. I think today was a pretty good day. And I think tomorrow's even a better day. Listen. Forget about aliens. If it helps you, forget about the word aliens. How about this? There are objects and or events that are in our atmosphere, near space, in our waters, that is causing incredible hardships to our commercial pilots, our military pilots, and our Navy and whatnot. There has been near disasters. There is incredible safety issues. Incredible safety issues up in our skies. It's a national defense issue, a national security issue. We are not able to identify everything that is flying through our air above us. We can't. It's happening. It's happening every single day, almost every day. Most of these videos were from 2023, 2024. I'm going to show you 3 or 4 of them because I went through them. A lot of them, didn't really say much to me. About 3 or 4 of them were like, holy smacks. Okay? And these were the ones that were going to be the least impressive. None of these are the most impactful 46 videos that they keep talking about. But there are a few of them here that I would like anybody to even try to attempt to say, what the hell is this? We have got military platforms. We've got Reaper drones. We've got the best pilots in the world. Our fighter jets have equipment in these airplanes that identify flying objects around them constantly. Every craft that is up in the air gives out a signature that our Air Force picks up easily. The systems on the air on the fighter jets tell the pilot if this is a Russian, Chinese, Iranian, from India type of plane, what type of plane it is, what the year it was made, everything. It picks up all the signatures, the propulsion system, what is coming out of the propulsion system, what is the temperature of the plane, and then we've got things coming out of our fighter jets constantly that tell us the length of the wing flaps, and it tells the system everything, and the system tells the pilot everything. We've got naval ships that have these radar sensors that are giving back all types of information, and again, it knows what is going on in the air above us, 360 degrees around that naval ship for hundreds and hundreds of miles west east, south, north, and way up in the sky. We're not talking about like a moron like myself. We're not talking about civilians out there with their iPhone and look. We've got the more technology, the higher tech we get, the more we are seeing. We are seeing more now in 2026 than we did in 2020, than we did in 2016, than we did in 2012, than we did in 2004 in that famous Nimitz case. Most of these videos are caught by infrared cameras. And people complain about the fuzziness and the whatever. Okay, fine. Supposedly we're going to be getting videos that are crystal clear 4K. Hopefully we see those soon. But the infrared cameras, what is so special about them, in the videos that I'm about to show you, is that if it's an airplane you are looking at through an infrared, you're going to show heat. If it's a helicopter, you're going to show heat. If it's a drone, you're going to see heat. But some of these objects come through the infrared as cooler than the air and the ocean waters below. And when you are an Air Force pilot and you're constantly flying and your system is constantly telling you, recognizing, identifying what you're flying with, against, what is going around you, and it keeps kicking identifications to you, and then you run and then you see an object that the propulsion system makes no sense whatsoever, and you know as a pilot, we do not have the technological ability to have that thing flying that high against the wind, being that cool, loitering for 4 hours. It's impossible. It's not the Russians, it's not Chinese, and it's not us. That is what we're seeing constantly. I'm not saying they're aliens. No, well, I don't know what they are. 99% of us don't know what they are. Maybe there's 1% of us, not 1%, 0.00001% of us that have somewhat of an idea. Maybe it's some sort of atmospheric condition, but again, our sensors are picking up solid objects. They know when they see a solid object with no wings, no flaps, no propulsion system that we can know of, identify of, replicate. That's a UAP. An unidentified aerial phenomenon. If you want to get hooked up on aliens and then try to have an alien discussion that aliens are not here, they can't get here, they've never been here, okay, great. You very well could be correct. But what the hell are these? What are these objects? They're unidentified. And today we're just talking about the airspace. There are going to be videos, radar signatures, talking about what is going on in the deep ocean, where you've got things whipping by our submarines, whipping by them. Things that we can't possibly do. The United States of America. What are they? Let me show you guys. Here a few things. Yogi Buck thinks they are ours. If they are, if they are ours, then we've done an incredible disservice to our country. Because if there is technology out there that can have vehicles whipping around at that speed, giving off that much light, that much energy, doing 90-degree turns constantly, it'll be up in the air for hours after hours after hours. Why aren't we using that for commercial usage? Why aren't we using that energy for our own cars? If they truly are ours, the government has been keeping a great secret up from us for 80 years. And by the way, there is a whole bunch of evidence that was been going on in the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the third. So were they ours back then? Let me show you guys something. Let's get to it here. First of all, I do want to thank Bill G, the incredible Bill G, for his 5 gifted memberships. The Oklahoma State Cowboy. We will get into college football here. Give me another 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to be talking some college football. I promise you. And again, this could be part 1 of a 2-part live show. We could be coming on later again tonight for reasons I'm not going to disclose to you quite yet. So keep your head on a swivel, please. Make sure you get yourself notified. Ring that notification bell for college football. Peek around the corner. Thank you, Bill G. And again, I've already lost the names of who got the gifted memberships because I've been babbling. I know MGC Sooner got one. For the 5 of you who were gifted a membership because of the incredible generosity of Bill G, you are all officially knighted cloak and dagger. Okay. Vox Quindaro, if they are us, the military would never want that info known. Thus the cover-up makes total sense. I love you, Vox. I love you. I love Tumasta. I love all of you. Okay? I love all of you. It doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. Because we have had pilots going after these, endangering their lives. Go read about what happened at the 2004 Nimitz case out to San Diego, coast of San Diego, where they saw a white tic tac, the shape of a tic tac, about 40 feet long. They try to follow that thing. That thing zoomed in front of the nose of their planes. We don't do that with each other. We have a lot of exercises, us versus us, but we don't introduce technology into an exercise that nobody knows. If it is us, then we've got ourselves not only we've got a tragedy, a scandal on our hands. Plus, if this is our stuff, again, no pilot is in these objects. A lot of these objects, our pilots would melt. Their bodies would melt because of the G-forces. So, if these objects are us, why aren't we using these objects? I mean, we would not be using these big naval ships with the missiles on the ships. We would not be using our own endangering our own fighter pilots. We'd be using these objects to dominate whatever we're trying to do militarily, like in Iran. They're not ours. They're not ours, ladies and gentlemen. And they're not Russian. Because if it was Russian, Ukraine would have been over with in a week. And if they're Chinese, then we're all doomed. But according to all the latest reports, over the last decade, China is still stealing our aviation engine technology. Why are they stealing our aviation technology if they've got all this stuff figured out? All right. Because a lot of you have probably completely ignored this story today because of the great stigma that it casts on anybody. I don't care about stigma. I don't care about stigma. I have made a fool of myself in front of you all for 4 years. And believe me, I had made a fool of myself well before any of you knew me. All right? All right? I have sang in front of you. I've sang fight songs in front of you. I've had a below 50% winning percentage against the spread for 4 straight years. I know how to make a fool of myself. I don't need this stuff. Stigma is not going to stop me. Stigma is not going to stop me. Look at this. Look at this. If I can find okay, sorry about that. My apologies. Okay, the first one I want to show you, Einstein's, the PATC Einstein's. These chandelier objects are unexplainable unless it's a sensor video anomaly. But again, this object has been seen, videoed multiple times across the globe, different times with different platforms. Okay? Here we go. That is a chandelier, a flying chandelier. These objects have been seen over the last few decades from time to time. And all this blacked out stuff is it's classified. They're able to show you this. This is not the only video of a chandelier, flying chandelier, going in all different directions, not just going with the wind. It's not a chandelier balloon. And these chandeliers are up there for hours. Who has the technology? It's not a drone. Okay? That's the first video that I want to show you. It's not over yet. I'll show it to the end. Again, I'm just showing you guys the best ones of today. So, and again, what these platforms try to do is they try to lock on. They try to lock on to these objects. If this was a simple drone, the platforms, the drone reapers, would most of the time easily lock in on this. But this object does not want to be locked in, and then it took off. It took off. Now, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to say this, but someone's got to say it. Domestic drones are easily locked on and easily put down to the ground. The U.S. military can easily dispose of domestic drones. Military drones can get a little bit more difficult, but our platforms can identify these military drones, and they most of the time have wings. This was an object that it could not be identified, and it is not the only chandelier one we have ever seen. This was not a one-time, and these videos are going to get even more extravagant, supposedly, as they get released. But that one in itself, I don't know. Somebody have an explanation for that. Does somebody have an explanation for that one? That's not all. I'm going to show you guys a couple of more. Greg, I've seen the Tic Tac alien ship and the conversation of the pilots talking. Antarctica is where the real action is. That's not AI. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are fixated on the alien part. I can see it in the chat room. Mick West is you know what? I'll keep my comments to myself on that. These are not AI generated. These are coming out of military platforms. Some of them are drone reapers. Other drones. Some of them are just called. What are they called? Watch tower. All of these are military assets that could not identify what these objects are, and that's what they do all day is identify things. 99.99% of the objects are identified. But there is that. Okay. All right, now let me show you another one. Since you guys, some of you believe that chandelier, it doesn't mean anything, Greg. It doesn't mean anything. That thing wasn't going anywhere. All right. Okay. What about this one? Again, I went through the videos this morning so you wouldn't have to. The first batch of videos that were released, I picked out about 4 or 5 that I interpreted as significant. And I think all of them are probably significant because none of them were identified. They're all unidentifiable, okay? So this one here is a little crazy. If you really think about it, forget about the word alien. Don't let that pollute your mind. Try to figure out what this object is. For national security purposes, for safety aviation purposes, and for scientific purposes. Figure out what this object is. All right? Here's the next one. Object bouncing all around, taking unimaginable angles. Has to be a drone, correct? But yet it couldn't be identified. Why not? Well, take a look. Take a look, Einsteins. Take a look. This object. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it says in the description, and people have been talking about this video, one of the main reasons why this object is unidentified is not just the crazy bouncing back like a ping pong ball, like, you know, the NBA draft where they have air coming up and they have that ping pong ball and it's going back and forth. Now it's going in one direction here. It's flying. And according to the information around this video, that is a very cold object that is flying. Right off the ocean, it is cold. They have no idea what is making this, what's the propulsion system. Trying to lock onto it. Zigzagging. You know those big military drones with the big wings? They don't go like this. They go like this, but they don't bounce back and forth like that. They can't. Okay. That's not all. Let me show you guys another one. First of all, I do want to thank the great MBM. We're going to get to your incredible, interesting super chat, MBM. Your incredible, interesting super chat. I want to spend a little time on that. First of all, I want to thank you so very much, MBM, for your continued generosity to the program. We will get to that in a moment. Let me go through these videos first, because we do got to get going. We got to talk some college football. But there was no way on God's green earth that I wasn't going to talk about these first batch videos. And a lot of you know that. Okay. Here's another one, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one. Reported as solid white object making erratic movements. Again, in almost all of these cases, the platform is unable to lock in on the object. Historically, it is very easy to lock in on a drone, military or domestic. Look at how this object moves, ladies and gentlemen. Again, all the black spots are, that's all classified. The speed, what platform was being used, what location, what time, what date. Here's the white object. Take a look at that thing. Take a look at it. Remember, ARO, military intelligence, nobody has figured out what this object is. And I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, that is not moving like any drone that anybody has ever seen. The infrared light, the infrared camera they're trying to lock in on this thing. It's just, it's again, it looks like a white solid object, looks like a Tic Tac. Now, is this an atmospheric? Does this happen when, I don't know, when some crystals gather together and blah, 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 blah? Who knows? But it's an object that we can't figure out what the hell it is. And we see it all the time. We see it all the time. So forget about the aliens for a moment. There are true unidentified area phenomenon out there. True UFOs or USO, underwater submersible objects that we have no idea what they are. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what people are considering the Tic Tac. It's not a bunch of seagulls flying together. It's not a balloon. It's going in all certain directions, not just with the wind. Okay. Let me get to at least one more here. At least one more. Okay. This one's a little crazy, ladies and gentlemen. They're all crazy. And by the way, let me stop this for a moment. The videos that I've shown you, for people who are interested in the subject, these videos have blown people away. Former military people who have dealt with these sensors. This stuff is blowing people away. And supposedly, these videos are going to be the least impactful ones that get released. Okay? Take that however you want to take it. Look at this object. Look at this object. Stopping and going and circling and going at incredible speeds. I'll be quiet. I'll let you watch it. Nobody has a drone that does that. Sorry. Nobody has anything that does that. You're trying to lock it in on that target right there, trying to lock it in. Now he's trying to lock it in. He's trying to lock it in. He's got it locked. He's got it locked. That's what all these platforms and cameras, sensors are trying to do. Picking up information. What is this? What is this? Should be able to stay locked. Our drone should be better than that drone, right? The crazy turns, the crazy speed. Okay, and then there is one more thing I want to show you guys. One more thing I want to show you. And again, I just want to give you the description of that last one. This thing does multiple 90-degree turns. The United States Central Command submitted a report of an unidentified anomalous phenomenon to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that's ARO, consisting of 2 minutes and 57 seconds of video footage from an infrared sensor aboard a U.S. military platform in 2023. An accompanying mission report, Dow UAP D33, described the UAP as flying near the surface of the ocean and making multiple 90-degree turns at approximately 80 miles per hour. Okay, one more here, guys. One more. I just want to show you a picture that now they are reinvestigating once again. I'm going to show it to you real quick. As part of the review of the historical UAP materials under Pursue, Department of War has opened a case to investigate the accompanying NASA photograph from the Apollo 17 mission taken December 1972. The image contains 3 dots in a triangular formation in the lower right quadrant of the lunar sky that is clearly visible upon magnification of the image. While this photo has been previously released and discussed by keen observers, there is no consensus about the nature of the anomaly. New preliminary U.S. government analysts suggest the image feature is potentially the result of a physical object in the scene. Preliminary U.S. government, new preliminary U.S. government. Now they believe it is a physical object. Additionally, as part of this investigation, the government has obtained the original film from the Apollo 17 mission, and the results of the full NASA and Department of War analysts will be released when completed. And there is the 1972 on the moon picture of these 3 dots. It looks like a triangle. Looks like a triangle. I just wanted to show you that as well. So, all of these objects continue to be looked at. Now, in regards to MBM, what are your thoughts on the 10 plus missing dead scientists tied to U.S. nuclear aerospace research. I have no idea what to think other than the general, what's his name? McClaskin. Just that one alone, where he said in 2016, and other people have talked with him, he had been he had played a major part in whatever we're doing. Look, first of all, thank you for the $5 holler, MBM. I have watched some stuff on some of these missing people. There might have been a couple of them that are explainable, but a lot of them are not. Like, these people just went missing. And what is really scary about it is there's been no resolution to any of these. Like, they're gone, no body, no evidence, they're just gone. And some of them have spoken up. There was one gentleman that was just about to be a whistleblower, because there's two phases to this. Or there's a demarcation line between, okay, today we're talking about videos, and we're talking about pictures, and we're going to talk more about videos, unexplained objects in the sky, right? You've got all that going on. But there's this other part of the story that I haven't spent any time on here at this college football YouTube channel. There's the other part of the story, which I don't know what to believe. The unidentified objects, to me, is incredibly fascinating. We truly do not know what they are, and it's been going on for a very long time. And because we've got better eyeballs now, we got better sensors here on Earth, up in near atmosphere, up in near space, in the ocean, we're seeing more and more and more and more and more stuff, right? That to me is fascinating. There's this other part of the story that I don't know if it's true or not, and if it's true, then we got to start talking about aliens. But there's this other part of the story that is about crash retrievals, biologics. I'm waiting for these documents to be released that talks about crash retrievals. Anything from the 1933 object that was retrieved in Italy during World War II. It crashed in 1933. We retrieved it in 1945. I want to see documents. There is this great discussions on crash retrievals and biologics. I don't know if that's true, but supposedly that's going to be part of these release as well. And if it is, now I can take this story that MBM is putting out there even more serious, because the crash retrievals, if that is true, going from 1947 Roswell, Italy, and other stories that are out there. There's a lot of stories out there. Supposedly there's a lot of documentation out there. Supposedly there's a lot of whistleblowers out there. Some of them have come out. David Grush and others. Now you're looking at why are we taking these crash retrievals? Why are we keeping it secret? Because it's the Cold War and we're trying to gain technology from it. Bob Lazar's story. All these stories now become potentially more true if in these documents, videos, whatever's coming out has to do with crash retrievals and biologics. And if that happens, then MBM in his super chat brings on a whole lot more meaning, and it is scary. Because if we have truly been in an arms race with non-human intelligence technology, then you can understand part of the secrets. You can understand a lot more to the story if it is true. I'm not saying it is. I'm not believing it yet. I am not believing it. I do believe, though, there are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. We truly do not know what they are. We spent a lot of time collecting the data. We spent a lot of time investigating. Our government, we spend a lot of time on this stuff. So obviously it's not just a head fake. It's not just a head fake, ladies and gentlemen. MBM, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's a lot easier to imagine if we live in a simulation. That would be a lot easier. It would be. It would be. These videos are probably just glitches or artifacts. Well, we've got pilots who have looked out the window and they see them. And what they're seeing matches some of these videos from our sensors. General Faber, our top pilot on the Nimitz, he was the lead guy. Out of 2,400 people, he saw that Tic Tac fly right on by his nose. They looked down at the ocean. They saw that Tic Tac bouncing around like a pinball right off the top of the ocean. So either there is mass hysteria by people who've got IQs in the 140 and 150 who know how to fly these Air Force jets better than we can fly our cars. Somehow there's mass hysteria among all of them, and it matches exactly what the sensors are telling us with their glitches. Okay. No, this should not be a political discussion. Democrats and Republicans, both, they're all very interested. All very interested. All right. Okay, so that's enough of the UFO talk. I know a lot of you have gotten pretty sick and tired of me. Greg, I was on the DART down aircraft recovery team in Iraq. We loaded an Iranian Predator drone in the back of a Chinook. Never a word about it in the news. Thank you so very much for that, MBM. You probably seen the story of that one recovery team who said they recovered a big white egg. A big white egg. And there's couple pictures of it. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get to college football. I had to do it, though. I had to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, when the next batch come out, and supposedly the next ones are even going to have more impactful videos, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a time and covering it on this program. So I thank you for the indulgence. I thank you for your patience. I thank you very much. Fox Friday. Missouri, Kansas. Indiana's Big Ten opener. Expansion crush. Big Ten, Indiana, the opener, Friday night. Holy smokes. This was just released right before we came on live. Fox Friday night TV schedule. 3 college football playoff teams from last season. The Indiana Hoosiers, the Oregon Ducks, and the Texas Tech Red Raiders will be a part of Fox beefed up Friday night college football lineup this fall. In the third season of placing Friday games on its broadcast network, Fox increased this lineup from 9 games to 12. They include the Border War, the Missouri Tigers, and the Rock Chalk Jayhawks, Kansas in week 2. A potential top 25 matchup in week 3 between the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Houston Cougars. And Penn State visiting Northwestern on October 20th. The Wildcats' first game at their $900 million new stadium. Holy smokes, that is October 2nd. Other Friday contests include the defending, reigning, undisputed national champion, the Indiana Hoosiers, Big Ten opener against Northwestern, Iowa at Washington on October 9th, Oregon at Michigan State on November 20th. And there is the slate, ladies and gentlemen. September 4, Fresno State at USC Fight On. Fresno State Bulldogs, USC Trojans. September 11th, there's the Border War, Missouri at Kansas. There's going to be a lot of heat in that game. Can Kansas, the Jayhawks, get their revenge? Vox Quindaro, don't get me started about those people. Those people, the Missouri Tigers. September 18th, Houston at Texas Tech. Cody Campbell did not want this game on a Friday night. It's probably going to be Connor Wegman versus Will Hammond. This game may decide who's going to be one of the entries into the Big 12 championship game. Andre Thomas, Houston is loaded on offense. The Red Raiders loaded on defense. Let's go. September 18th, September 25th. Northwestern at Indiana. The Big Ten opener. The Hoosiers, reigning, defending, undisputed Big Ten champion, national champion, get the Wildcats at home. That is going to be who? Josh Hoover versus Aiden Childs. Little bit of a mismatch. And then next Friday night, it's going to be Penn State, and now Northwestern gets to play at home. Back-to-back Friday night games. Iowa at Washington, October 9th. Now, that game, the winner is probably going to be still a contender to get to the college football playoffs. The loser, they're going to take a big hit. The Hawkeyes at the Huskies. We're going to talk a little bit more about that game here in a little bit. And then Washington at Purdue. Back-to-back Friday nights. Washington Huskies. They got to go to West Lafayette. The Boilermakers. The Boilermakers have not won a conference game in 2 years. Can they win a conference game this year? November 6th, Nebraska at Illinois. What type of heat will Matt Rule be in? Going against Brett Bielema. Look, we did the Nebraska spotlight. We've already done the spotlight on the Cornhuskers. Bielema is going to love the fact that Bielema he's going to be like, I don't know if I should say this. I think this might be the game that sends Matt Rule a packing. I think this might be the game. A Friday night, Nebraska at Illinois. Remember the Nebraska at Minnesota game last year, prime time. and Matt Rule's Nebraska team got crunched by a Gopher team that was not playing good football. Illinois at home against Nebraska. That could be the game that sends Pat Rule packing. Illinois at UCLA. Again, Illinois back-to-back Friday night games. Oregon at Michigan State. And we're going to talk about that game in a moment. And then you got the West Virginia Mountaineers at the end of the season at Utah. Again, is Utah going to be battling for a spot in the Big 12 championship game? What about West Virginia? A lot of people are predicting West Virginia to just come up short to get to a bowl game. I got a question. It's Rich Rod's second season at Morgantown. There is a lot of talk, a lot of buzz that West Virginia is seeing quite an improvement across the line of scrimmage on both offense and defense. If Rich Rod gets a quarterback that can function at a high level, be it Fox, be it Hawkins, with an offensive line that is working, with the transfer from Jacksonville State, Mr. Cook, I don't know. I think West Virginia's got a really good shot to be the spoiler in the Big 12, to make a bowl game, and then Friday night Mountain West championship game. Friday games have times drawn backlash from the coaches and the fans, but Fox touts that the slot average higher audience numbers last season than its Saturday mid-afternoon. It provides opportunities for teams to be the marquee game on a Friday night versus on a Saturday. You'd be competing against other marquee games, says Derek Crocker, Fox Senior Vice President for College Sports. It's a huge advantage for a school from an opportunity to showcase them on a national stage. A large majority of these games, if they weren't on Friday on our biggest platform, they'd probably end up on a cable or streaming, Crocker said. The difference there is obviously huge from an exposure standpoint to both the schools and the conferences. Fox, ESPN, and other major networks are expected to announce their full early season schedules and other special dates by the end of May. And again, we'll bring it up again. Matt Fortuna, of note with the Big Ten Friday games, the Oregon Ducks will fly to Michigan State on a short week after playing Michigan. So you're going to have this Oregon-Michigan game, and then Oregon's going to Michigan State. Iowa will fly to Washington after a short week after playing Ohio State. So that's a tough task for the Oregon Ducks and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Okay, I do want to thank Bill G and MBM for your donations. I appreciate it. We're going to get to your phone calls here in a little bit. Again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Ring that notification bell. And if you like our content, smash the like content. Smash the like button. Here's John Wilner's article that I talked about earlier today. On an episode, I think it was 498. Ignore the $480 million cash option. The Big 12's private capital deal is a long game play for Commissioner Brett Yormark. The conference is 4 years from the media rights negotiations that could be impacted by the NFL. I just want to keep this short here. John Wilner basically is reporting what we have reported. For the last 2 years that college football's peak around the corner, the reason why the Big 12 did this deal was to help in their next media rights negotiation. If nobody takes their money, the $30 million credit line, this is where it stands. There's two components to the deal between Big 12 and Redbird Capital. $12.5 million for the conference office to deploy for revenue-generating endeavors, and a strategic partnership with Redbird, a private investment firm with about $14 billion in assets. And that, folks, is where the Big 12 stands to benefit from the partnership. The move makes perfect sense when cast against Yormark's broader strategy to position the conference for the 2030s. One of Redbird clients in the media space happens to be Paramount, which owns CBS and just took control of Warner Brothers Discovery, which includes TNT. And finally, in the article that we covered earlier today on episode 498, guess which networks have forged linear broadcast deals with the Big 12? Yep, TNT has the rights to 13 football and 15 basketball games annually, while CBS platforms have another 26 basketball games. Both deals are through the sub-licensing agreements with ESPN. So if you're scoring at home, the Big 12 counts ESPN and Fox as its primary media partners, and TNT, CBS, Peacock, the digital arm of NBC, as secondary partners with sub-licensing deals. So going into the next media rights negotiations, the man, Brett Yormark, is going to have in his back pocket a strategic partnership with Redbird Capital, of course, who's heavily involved with Paramount, who, of course, owns Big 12's current secondary media partners, TNT, CBS, and Peacock. This gives Brett Yormark a little bit of leverage when he goes into that exclusive negotiating window with ESPN and Fox. He doesn't have to take he doesn't necessarily have to take the table scraps from ESPN and Fox. At least Brett Yormark has got ESPN and Fox thinking that he doesn't have to take the scraps. That strategic partnership is the most important part of the deal that Yormark and the Big 12 just struck. So I know that most of the reporting is involving how many schools have declined to take the $30 million credit line and how many schools have taken the $30 million credit line. And so far it's like 12-0, 13-0, 14-0. That's not really the story, though. That's not why Brett Yormark did it. That's not why the Big 12 presidents said, yes, let's do it. Okay? All right. Okay, let's get to your phone calls. Again, we got time for maybe one or two phone calls. This is we're planning on coming on live again later today to talk more college football. I believe I got a feeling that we may be coming on live again. It's not for sure. Again, we thought we were coming on live last night, but I ran out of time. But again, this is I wanted to talk about all these things that we couldn't talk about last night, and I wanted to talk about the UAP videos that came out later on today. If there's a live show, it's going to be college football centric, I promise you. And it might have to do with one big story. One big story. So buckle up, brace for impact. Let's get to the phone lines. Super chats will supersede anything else. But let's go to the phone lines here. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Let's see. I want to make sure. I've had a few people send me some notes. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Since we're not getting any phone calls, breaking news, breaking news. Document was released today. Headquarters, Air Material Command. Opinion concerning flying disc by Commanding General Army Air Forces, Washington, D.C. This was put out in 1947, September 23, 1947. It is the opinion that, as requested, there is a presented below the considered opinion of this command, considered the so-called flying disc. This opinion is based on interrogation report data furnished by ACAS-2 and preliminary studies by personnel, aircraft laboratory, engineering division. This opinion was arrived at a conference between personnel from Air Institute of Technology, Intelligence, Chief of Engineering Division, Power Plant and Propeller Laboratories. It is the opinion that A, the phenomenon reported is something real and is not visionary or fictitious. B, there are objects probably approximately the shape of a disc of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as a man-made aircraft. C, there's a possibility that some of the incidents may be caused by natural phenomena such as meteors. D, the reported operating characteristics such as an extreme rates of climb, maneuverability, an action which must be considered evasive when sighted or contacted by friendly aircraft and radar, lend belief to the possibility that some of the objects are controlled either manually, automatically, or remotely. Okay, so that document just came out. Breaking news, breaking news. That document just came out. We've got college football breaking news. College football breaking news. Brandon Marcello. Conferences will be able to choose which 5 and 7 teams fill open bowl slots under a proposal adopted Thursday by the FBS Oversight Committee. It's a shift from the current system, which selects alternatives by AP order. So there it is. The conferences, it's proposed. It's a proposal. No more APR selecting the 5 and 7 teams. It's going to be the conferences that are going to select the 5 and 7 teams. All right, guys, we're going to let it go here. We've been on the air for an hour and 18 minutes when we were not planning to do a live show right now. I do want to thank once again MBM and Bill G for your very generous super chat and your gift memberships. I appreciate it, helping us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Thank you so very much. Thank you for the rest of you for listening to this live show on a Friday, May 8th. I'm hoping we come back to you later today with another college football live show. Please subscribe to our channel. Keep your head on a swivel. We are, I do not, you know what, I'm not even going to try to characterize. Just keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel for later, hopefully today. If not today, soon after. But again, we're going to try to get back to you later again. Until next time, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. And as always, God, family,